I've seen people having sex, one girl getting spit roasted, another had a train going on. Window washers of Reddit, what is the most memorable thing you have seen while on the job? One of my first jobs, I worked as a window cleaner in a little town in England, for a year maybe, saw some sights. Once saw an old lady getting changed, nearly jumped off the ladder in fear but luckily didn't see anything, was in charge of collecting the money though, and it was really awkward. One time an old man sat in his armchair and watched me intently with a deadpan expression as I cleaned his living room windows, 3 of them. I was pretending I couldn't see him, but I could. Boss's son also worked with us and literally all dogs hate him, no idea why. Watched maybe 15 dogs chase this dude over the year, one bit his ass cheek so hard he had to get stitches lol. Had to clean a 4-story building on a hill and boss used to prop the ladder up with 2 bricks under one leg, super unsafe, while I shook my way up the ladder. All the window ledges were also covered in rusty nails to stop pigeons from landing, so I'd be like 40 foot in the air on an unstable ladder, shaking, trying to clean a window behind 100 giant rusty nails, terrifying. My favorite story, I was cleaning away and looking at this guy's room and noticed a skateboard. I'm also a skater, and thought, oh damn, I recognize that deck. It belonged to a guy I'd met like twice at the local park. The next day, I was at the skate park and walked over to him. Bear in mind we've exchanged like 8 words before this. I sat next to him and kept a complete stone expression and said, hey, you look like the kind of guy who'd have black bed sheets. He was like, WTF. I do have black sheets. I was like, with white squares. I bet your room's blue as well. And he's noticeably freaked, like, how the fuck do you know all this? And then I had to drop it. I'm your window cleaner mate, saw your deck in a room yesterday, haha. Fast forward 11 years and he's currently my oldest and closest friend. A tornado. We had little warning before we saw it about 1 kilometer away. It didn't appear to be moving side to side much, which indicates that it's coming towards you. We winched down about 4 floors, jumped onto a fire escape and got inside the building. Rode out the storm inside and then went home. I worked for a private estate in the local polo club. I was under the impression that the owners were not home at the time, but I was wrong. I was washing windows this particular morning and I came around to the restroom window and got a perfect view of this older couple in the shower together. The window looked out on a private fenced-in patio, so that's why it wasn't fogged glass. The window by the toilet is the same way. Bad design in my opinion. I've never moved faster in my life than I did catapult myself backward out of view of this naked couple. I don't believe they saw me because the next time we ran into each other, everything seemed normal from their end, haha. Good friend is a window washer for downtown office towers. They get notice of the day the windows are being washed, yet he says it's shocking how many people are freaked out by them being outside their window. Weirdest though? They came across a dude watching porn on his office computer. When he noticed the window washers, he just gave them a big thumbs up and kept watching. I used to window clean hotels, which meant going room to room with a master key to let myself in. I've seen quite a few dildos and vibrators being proudly displayed on bedside tables. But the one situation that stuck with me the longest was just walking down the corridor and hearing 2 middle-aged people going at it in one of the rooms. It was a Georgian hotel in the Cotswolds, so very echoey. Their screams were getting louder and louder and people were actually coming out of their rooms because it was so audible. All the housekeepers at the end of the corridor were doubled over laughing. That couple had no idea how intimately they shared their experience with us. This was 25 years ago. Cleaning second-floor windows in a hospital from ladders. I arrived at a window to see a lady giving birth. The child was probably half in and half out, is as best as I can describe it. The people in the room were so concentrated on what they were doing they didn't notice me, so I made a hasty descent. A couple of windows further down, same floor, I see a man pacing up and down with his hands behind his back. Dark hair, tidy mustache, around 30. Will never forget his face. No idea why he wasn't in with his partner, but I had no doubt this was the father. Skip down a few windows, 3 minutes per window including moving the ladder, so not that long, and I arrive at a window to see the lady being wheeled in on a wheelchair with the baby in her arms, the other mothers, maternity ward, clapping, and the father walking behind with a huge beaming smile. It felt like it was out of a movie with a camera following the story. Quite unforgettable. It's a Saturday morning and I wanted to have a nice lie-in. My headboard for my bed is up against the window, so I sleep facing away from the window and have to turn around to see what is outside / to open the curtains. On this fateful day, I woke up to some sound, but it wasn't alarming, so I just carried on, as usual, stretched, then turned around to open my curtains. Then I see his face. The window cleaner clearly didn't expect me to open the curtains and got a little scared. I too didn't expect to see someone's face looking back at me through the window, early on a Saturday morning. He saw me almost fall off my bed in sheer terror. Paying him at the door when he was done was funny. We both laughed and pretended it didn't happen. I used to install and repair windows. One afternoon we'd gone out to a job where some asshole neighborhood kids had smashed several back windows of a nice elderly couple's place. We worked our way from the top. The first 2 windows belonged to an ensuite bathroom, while the third was the bedroom to which the ensuite was attached. The master. My job was to clear any remaining glass from the area so the other bloke could put the new panel in. Anyway, I noticed a small urn on the desk by the window, with the name Triple Scoop engraved upon it, along with 2 dates, about 4 years apart. Probably a pet. Hopefully a pet. I'd thought. Didn't think about it for more than a minute, then went back to work. We finished the upstairs windows and went down to work on the 2 in the kitchen. Holy shit. There was a wall with 5 long shelves, each one holding several urns similar to Triple Scoop upstairs. Turns out the elderly couple used to breed and race greyhounds, and the urns contained the remains of their deceased racers. Triple Scoop was their first champ. Housekeeper checking in. This one lady liked to feed birds, like 50 pounds every 2 weeks. No screens, sills caked in filth, and the windows themselves had been neglected over time. They were Anderson windows, so you could pull them in from the inside. Well, the tension string broke and I'm literally holding the window by a string, and this bird straight up flies into my face. I was shocked, the bird was shocked, I screamed. I like to imagine the bird did too. Bird flew away and I got the window locked back in place and called maintenance. This was on the 2nd floor too. Oh, I have a good one. When I was doing my PhD, one of the other students had to wash windows at the weekend to make ends meet. Anyway, he was washing a block of flats one day. He didn't know this, but the block was home to a female lecturer in the same department as us. He washes the window of her bedroom and she walks in completely naked. He stares in shock, she grabs a towel and it's over. The next day she files a harassment complaint about him because she assumed he was pretending to be a window cleaner to see her naked. Luckily his employer could vouch for him and the matter was dropped. Very awkward. She handled this as a private and mature way. She didn't tell anyone and followed the formal, and private, process. When she found out the truth, she apologized. If I saw a colleague looking in my bedroom while I was naked, I'd want to know what was going on too. Wouldn't you? In fact, he was the one who told us because he found it so funny. It was last summer. I was cleaning my dad's car with the help of my little brother. It was a bright sunny day and I began cleaning. After completing the outside cleaning of the car windows, doors, etc., I began to take off the carpet kind of stuff from inside the car to dust it off. Finally, when I was polishing the bits of the dashboard, I noticed something glimmering from within a crack on the dashboard. Holy shit. Guess what? It was my mom's wedding ring, which she lost a year ago. It was in the car but in a small narrow crack. I wonder how it must have gotten there, but I remember the happiness on my mom's face when she found out about it. If you are married, you probably know how much a wedding ring is worth. Not in terms of money, but its value and memories. I gave it to my dad and told him to put it on my mom's finger. OMG, it was so wholesome to see. They even took us to malls that day and bought me and my brother a hoodie. I just wanted to get this out and I found a perfect opportunity. Not a proper window washer, so to speak, but the clothing store I worked had the insides of their big from windows cleaned every Sunday morning by a staff member. A lot of the time it was me. Now people could come into the mall and wander around, we just wouldn't let them in the stores. This is because the upstairs was a food court and open. So one morning I'm in the store on the little ladder cleaning the window and I spy this dude standing just kind of out of the way of my line of sight, but he can see me. I'm thinking, great, it's 8 a.m. on a Sunday, I'm possibly still drunk, I don't need this crap, it's too early. So I turn around to call my manager over to point him out so she can call security. While I'm turned around, he runs up to the window, waits till we are both looking and pulls out his dick and wanks all over the store window. Yup. He was escorted out and arrested, and one of the mall cleaners had to clean the mess up, poor dude. There was then a flawed high neck top found that all the girls had to wear when washing the windows because apparently, he was getting off on seeing the cleavage. Not a window washer, but I live in a 2-story building, so we don't really bother with real curtains in the bathroom. We only have an extremely thin, see-through white fabric over the window. The doors in the shower are glass. So, on this fateful day, I was taking a shower and my mom had unfortunately neglected to inform me that our gutter was getting repaired that day. So you can imagine my surprise when, while I was just minding my business, getting soaped up in the shower, naked as the day I was born, all of a sudden I see the figure of a man ascending into the frame of my window. I am not proud to say I completely panicked and just dropped to the floor. So, dripping wet and covered in soap, I made my way, crawling over the bathroom floor to open the door. I escaped. The worst part is that at that point the guy was probably so high up that he saw everything. The most horrifying moment of my life, but it does make for a good story today. One guy was on his computer wearing complete death metal attire. Spiked hair, full body leather, and heavy, and I mean heavy mascara/eyeliner. He was facing the window and in turn me. He locked eyes with me the entire time I was doing my job. He looked like he was going to murder me. That's when I saw what he was watching on his computer. My Little Pony. That's when his demeanor changed. He realized what I saw and smiled from ear to ear. Not my story, but my brother's. A very famous female comedian in my country had a house in our area, and in her bedroom above the bed was a life-size paint me like one of your French girls oil painting of her Starkers. He nearly fell off the ladder in surprise, and she was stood at the bottom wetting herself laughing cause she knew what was coming. Window cleaner for over 12 years now. I've seen horrible things. Also hilarious things. Once helped catch a pair of yobs who were on the run from the police. Was just minding my own business cleaning a customer's windows when the fence panels behind us in the garden exploded. Like it started raining splintered wood and dirt. Some scum had nicked a car and cornered way too fast. They shot the corner, jumped the curb, and obliterated the garden and the nicely parked up BMW in the drive. Both knobheads ran immediately and hopped the gardens, and in seconds out of nowhere there's a helicopter circling and K9 units on them both. They were flat face down on the pavement in a matter of moments, big burly coppers pinning them down. Seen plenty of big double-ended dildos, strap-on, etc. left out on the beds of undiscerning customers. Lots of naked old dudes and people who were in the shower not knowing we were there only to scream. It's a good laugh as a job really, folk are always alright, and it's nice to have a cuppa on the job and a biscuit. Did a job in one of the wealthiest areas in Texas. I had uppers, which is longer, especially with a ladder. My coworkers were inside for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. As I'm about to go inside, both of them come outside, visibly upset. One of my coworkers went in the bathroom, stepped in a puddle and got his socks wet, and just continued to clean the windows. The other one went behind him and stepped in the puddle as well, and he looked down and sees there's piss everywhere. They both stepped in piss. The owners had a young toddler, and the entire house was in filth. Food everywhere, kids' toys everywhere. They basically let the kid do whatever he wants with no supervision. The mother was very trashy. Couldn't believe this shit in a $300K plus house. I repel buildings in NYC as part of my job. It's a job that already draws attention, but as a female even more so. However, while on the rope it's quiet and you get to peer into the lives of others. Did a drop last Monday, and I can 100% confirm that people do not wear pants while working remotely. The best thing I saw was a small girl playing with a giraffe toy right on the windowsill. Scared the shit out of me as her little face came into view like 3 from mine. She screamed and her mom came in. Her mom proceeded to tell her girls can have awesome jobs if they want them, and we took selfies together. Worst I've seen, repelling hospitals. Was not prepared for the sheer amount of suffering behind those windows. This is more of a window watcher than a window washer thing. I had a good friend who lived in an apartment in New York City with his brother. Across from their building was another apartment building. Immediately across from their window was the window of an apartment occupied by an attractive young couple, male/female. Like clockwork, just before dinner time every single day the couple would leave their curtains open and engage in a prolonged fuckfest. My friend would come home from work, grab a beer out of the fridge, pull up a chair next to his brother, And watch the pair that they eventually dubbed the fornicators do their business. I wasn't a window washer at the time, although I have been a window washer before, but at this moment I was just a gardener trimming bushes around the university. One day we were trimming some bushes and through an egress window, there was this guy watching hardcore Asian porno in one of the administrative buildings. His office door was wide open and he wasn't jerking it or anything but was just sitting there upright watching it with a very serious deadpan expression on his face. Now I go cleaning windows to earn an honest bob. For a nosy Parker, it's an interesting job. Now it's a job that just suits me. A window cleaner you would be. If you can see what I can see. When I'm cleaning windows. Honeymooning couples too. You should see them bill and coo. You'd be surprised at things they do. When I'm cleaning windows. I did high-rise window cleaning for the better part of a year. Hotels were the most entertaining. Building management would issue a notice to guests that we'll be doing our thing, but it didn't seem to have much effect on some. I've seen numerous people having sex, one girl getting spit roasted, another had a train going on. More of the nudist exhibitionist types than you can shake a squeegee at. They weren't too bad if they were south of geriatric and less than 100 kilograms. Aftermaths of hellish parties where it looks like someone put a bomb in the middle of the room, piled people on top and then set it off, casting ragdolls' bodies everywhere. A guy watching TV in a Barney the Dinosaur costume. Then there are the ones that just stare at you. Unblinking. Fucking creepy. Had a few people call security on us saying we're terrorists. Kind of understandable in some respects as this was in Melbourne, Australia, and as many will know it gets fucking hot in Australia. So to protect ourselves from the ungodly heat we would basically dress like Arabs with their lovely white flowing robes complete with headgear. But then again, what bloody terrorist strikes fear into the people by washing your fucking windows? Thank you for watching Reddit Space. Please subscribe if you love these Reddit stories.